more, you know.
I'm actually got a lot into any real issue. Credible alternative.
Yeah.
Credible alternative. We'll look at music. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. This is 15 minutes past the hour of 10 a.m. Apologies that we are slightly behind schedule. But then, this is Press Rewind. This is where we get to do a review of big stories that made headlines during the week. And not just that, we also get to talk about several issues that affect not just the State, but also the entire country, Nigeria, as a whole. I am Samuel Olugbeminiyi, and this is Press Rewind. Quickly, I have Ayo-Akande in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Nigeria. It's amazing what's happening currently. Loads of things amazingly are happening. All of them are pointers to what will come 2019. So, well, I think it's beginning to get to the point where we will no longer just sit back, relax, and hold our popcorns and enjoy the cinema. I think it's beginning to get disturbing if we do not step into the scene and act.
Yes, really, really disturbing. I know that before we came on there, we were talking about credible alternatives.
Yes.
And we were saying, see, it appears that Nigeria keeps on running around the same circle, and history keeps repeating itself, and then we keep having the same set of guys being recycled, and that's perhaps why there hasn't been any real change in the country. And you were giving me an instance of a political party.
Yeah. Recently, I think there is a new party. Of course, it's not so new. And they had their national convention yesterday, and three of the presidential candidates, the ones who are interested, Dr. Elishama, Dr. Ikubeze, and also Feladotoye, boycotted that national convention for the following reasons. One, there were reported irregularities in the state and local government congresses carried all over the 36 states. As a matter of fact, some even states did not have congresses, but yet ESCOs were picked from those states. and of course, in other states, the interim recognized chairman of that party in the state did not know about another parallel congress that was happening, which even INEC recognized more. So these are many more grievances were raised to the BOT chairman, and they completely ignored this, went ahead, raised delegates from God knows where, and then they had the national convention. But this is my pain, that they elected the legal advisor, national legal advisor, and I read a statement this morning, and his statement was all boiled down to money. He kept using the scenario of Econet. When Econet came to Nigeria, Econet talked about it was scared because coup and all of that will spoil their investment in Nigeria, so they didn't want to spend money, but MCN gave in all their money and it has paid off for them. I kept talking about money. There is an individual spending money who sponsored all this parallel, who boycotted the process, enacted a what's it called, an unrecognized faction of the ANN in all the 30 states, mobilized people, sponsored the congresses, and then paid these people to work. And then this was the complaint, that if we are looking for a new Nigeria, why should we have the same process in this same party? And then the legal advisor made a statement and kept talking about money. This individual spent money, these people didn't want to spend money, and Nigeria cannot progress. And it keeps mentioning money, money, money without attention to due process,
Okay.
which is
Hey, why not?
heartbreaking.
Let's. I know you are a member of that party, and it's really heartbreaking for you. But then let's look at this from the view of an outsider now. If we are seeking for credible alternatives, we as Nigerians definitely hold ourselves that responsibility of making sure that the system is credible.
Yes.
But then it appears that there's so much pollution that you can either discard or totally dismantle and then try to rebuild. Which one would you suggest? Should we discard and then forget about trying to build this Nigeria? Perhaps this generation is lost, this one is gone, and perhaps just let it go and start praying and hoping and trying to train perhaps a new generation. Let's see, perhaps when you come, you would make a difference.
Well, why I have not lost hope in this generation, because I know that there are Nigerians who are concerned about the state of this country, and there are young Nigerians who would want to do things right. Why I would not also advise that we totally discard the current system that we're run by politically right now, is because a total discard is even far from the realities, far from the obtainable right now. We cannot, because somehow, I don't know how we got to this point, but we have been able to structure our economy, structure our mindset, even politically, leadership wise, to actually, the what's it called, the total decadence in the political system. This is what I'm saying. We cannot, it is very hard, it's going to be very hard for us to say that we would have a credible, totally credible election in Nigeria, devoid of vote buying, voters inducement, and money politicking. It's going to be very, very hard. As a matter of fact, doing away with that system is going to crash a lot of things, because by reality right now, I have learned that a lot of Nigerians have to wait every 4 years for them to be able to eat of the national cake. And so if you take that out, then it means that a lot of things are going to crash totally. A lot of things are going to crash. But as much as I know that this crash will birth the reality of a new Nigeria, in the long run, the damage we might not be able to handle the damage. So this is what I am putting forward this morning: a total reform. Fine, money is a very important part of politics, but not too much money, not excess money. Not money should be channeled for right purposes. For instance, you want to have a congress, a party wants to have a congress. There is definitely going to be a substantial amount of money that is going to be needed to mobilize candidates or individuals from all of the regions that you want to bring them for. That's good money put to use. You will accommodate them, you feed them while you brainstorm on how to move the country forward and move the party forward. That's good use of money. But wrong use of money is for you to induce people, cause division, cause factions, and separate things, and sow the seed of hatred. When you have people that will go into a state and begin to sponsor certain people to scatter things, these are the wrong uses of political monetization in Nigeria.
You've talked about reform. Who would lead this reform?
Now, this is what I think. I was having a very content discussion with a couple of friends some time back, and I think that it is very important that we get to a point in this country where young people will come together. Those who have the wherewithal come together actually to, when I mean young people, I'm talking people between the age 25, 35, or maybe 40, come together and say, okay, we want to put up our money to start up a form of movement or a form of system or political system where we can manage. Because if you look at most of these parties, new or old, whatever name they come, they are the same. We have the same set of aged people who are old, who have made money through whatever means, and they have entered into the system to make sure they recreate a process that can recreate money for them. Politics has now become money making. So if we have youths gather and say that, okay, this is what we want to do. We do not want to do politics to make money. We want to do politics to make impact, create a platform where other young people can be able to sponsor them for them to go through elective purposes. Until we have those platforms, actually, then we might have to grapple to this in different forms and different names.
PVC, do you think there should be an extension?
I think there should be an extension because from personally, a lot of people have been calling me. As a matter of fact, I want to plead. I think if there is an extension, there is going to be an extension. I want to plead with INEC in Ekiti State to start.
Yes, because they said they are not doing it.
They are not doing it. A lot of people, I am, without mincing words, I can count like 10
yes,
of personal friends who have called, and I have had to tell them, go to Akure, go to this place to get your PVC done, because it's currently not ongoing in Ekiti. Yeah. So let us see, we pray to INEC nationally that there is an extension, because a lot of people are turning up, a lot of people, we are trying, you and I were trying to talk to people every day, go get your PVC. It's one step and many steps towards one direction, and PVC is very important. So if there is an extension, then I want to plead with INEC, the PRO, Mr. Gbadigeshin, and the INEC chairman in Ekiti State. Please let us start this voters registration process in Ekiti. It is very, very important.
All right, let's get down to the headlines. There was this very groundbreaking story on Punch. Akpabio, 4 lawmakers, 2 commissioners, others defect. With a rider, we haven't closed case against Senator. The senator representing Akwa Ibom Northwest in the National Assembly, Godswill Akpabio, who officially defected from the People's Democratic to the All Progressives Congress on Wednesday, said his defection was done to link Akwa Ibom to the center. 4 lawmakers, consisting 2 from the House of Representatives, 2 from Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, also defected to the All Progressives Congress from the People's Democratic Party. The legislators include a member from Abak Federal Constituency, Mr. Emmanuel Ikon, a member from Ikotekpene Federal Constituency, Emmanuel Akpan, a member from the Usien Udim State Constituency, Ise Utren, and a member representing Etim Ekpo State Constituency, Gabriel Toby. The 2 commissioners who also defected from the PDP include the Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Mr. Victor Antai, and Commissioner for Labour and Productivity and Manpower, Baha Akpabio. Okay, quite a lot of persons. Commenting on his defection, Akpabio said, people are saying, why the APC? You need to know that I am a nationalist. In times like this, the country is at war. All hands must be on deck to salvage the situation. It's a difficult moment for Nigeria. In a period of national emergency, everybody should put hands together to support this government to bring peace to the people. I would like to be a conspirator who joins hands to conspire to put foot on the Nigerians, to bring peace to Benue, to stop the killings in our country, to ensure employment for our children, will bring about common transformation for the Nigerians. This is a moment of uncommon change. Uncommon change has come to Akwa Ibom. And then the national chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole, will receive Akpabio into the party. He eulogized him for the courage he has shown by leaving the PDP. Now, there was a goof there. There was a goof during the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, said that the People's Democratic Party had ruined Akwa Ibom for about 16 years, thereabout. And then Reno Omokri, that's the former special advisor to former President Goodluck Jonathan, picked that statement and then fired back and said, see, does that mean you recycle waste politicians? Because out of that 16 years,
you have somebody who used
in fact, both of them, that's Obong Victor Atta and also Godswill Akpabio, and all members of the APC. So what does that mean? Does that really mean change?
It's intriguing, you know. It's intriguing that we're not careful with political statements in the country. We wield swords of authority as though nobody can put us in shape and in order. I think politics in this country, it's becoming glaring. I saw a picture on the internet, it was circulating, of where we had 3 people around the table. There was a Nigerian, somebody tagged a Nigerian or Nigerians in the middle, and then we had one part facing another, and then one was tagged APC and PDP, and they were playing some form of game, card game, And while underneath the table, alleged, I think APC, one of the pictures, images in the picture was alleged, probably, drawn, passing a card through the leg under the table to the other one, which means that these two parties, or whatever parties we have, are simply playing Nigerians. And it's getting clearer that they are simply playing Nigerians. But the truth is, defection or not, it's like I said, and I will keep saying, they're all political calculations. But these political calculations, they give me headaches and hiccups a lot of times, because I have seen that in these political calculations, they really do not care about the average Nigerian. Now, the average Nigerian is always the last on the list when these political calculations are being put together. And that's usually the problem, and that is just not usually, it is the problem of our democracy right now. We are not practicing democracy the proper way, because the concerns or the yearnings of the average Nigerian should be my concern. Now, simple. Let us address the major issues when it comes to these major parties now. What are the strongholds that probably PDP is using against APC, and APC is using against PDP? APC is using corruption allegations against APC for 16 years, against PDP, I mean, for 16 years that they ruled, and a lot of allegations. PDP is saying that with all the killings and all of that, corruption back and forth. So it means that in the whole picture, the average Nigerian is in the mix right now. It means that the average Nigerian is the one who is suffering, the average Nigerian who is the one who's being killed, and there's no security assurance for him or his family or his life. The average Nigerian is the one who cannot afford 3 square meals every day. So I feel that if these people really do care about us, they should begin to implement policies that can actually focus on the average Nigerian, the middle problem. So if I were PDP, I would probably start implementations in I still have some states where I govern, right? Yes. Then I begin to implement policies. And it only takes one state governed properly for me to sell my party to the whole of the country. Definitely. That we're ready to make a difference. Definitely. That's what I think PDP should focus on, while APC should focus on actually ensuring that they prove this other party wrong. And this is what I mean. They focus on the problem. We have security challenges, right? Let's look at this problem. How can we solve it and begin to take drastic steps to stop it? How can we reduce corruption? Take drastic steps to reduce it. Somebody will say that they are trying their best to reduce the corruption. But how about security? Somebody will say in recent times that Boko Haram has not been killing and we've not been having Benue killings. And a lot of people have attributed it to probably cross-carpeting. And they're asking questions. Could it be that certain individuals are responsible for these actions? I do not know. But I desire that if these people actually desire that Nigeria gets better and they want the good and the best things for Nigerians, let them focus at the center. We are the ones in the center. We are the ones who need all of these things. Let them stop trading words and rule governors well.
Line on Voice 9.9 FM. No, there's also this headline on Daily Post reads, NAS siege, police submits report on DSS probe to Oshibaju makes shocking revelations. The Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has on Wednesday submitted a report about Tuesday's siege of the National Assembly to acting President Yemi Osinbajo. The report was obtained by Daily Post on Thursday night. IGP indicted the sacked DG of the DSS, Lawal Dara. The presidency has since replaced him with Matthew Seyefa, the most senior director in the agency. According to the IGP, Dara acted alone and never consulted all security agencies. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Thursday arrested a former DSS DG, Ita Ekpeyong, who was reportedly arrested in connection with alleged 17 billion naira fraud in the agency. The arrest was said to be part of the ongoing probe of the sacked DG Dara. It was gathered that the two ex-DSS chiefs could not account for the cash in the last 3 years. First, did you see the sacking coming?
Well, it was to say that I didn't see it coming would be wrong, because that would have been the most reasonable thing to do, to sack whoever was orchestrated.
But this same administration has been in the position to sack other
yeah, of course.
Doesn't come, so I think that should have been a surprise.
Well, it didn't surprise me.
Okay.
One, the president was out of the country, and this was a more volatile situation. Sad enough, other scenarios that have happened, security glitches here and there that have happened, should have been more important. But the sad reality right now is, until certain powers are pulled to ransom, the average Nigerian life does not matter. Because I would have expected this same action to have been done when we had the old Benue killings. The president sent you on an assignment to Benue State. You didn't go there. President came out to say that he didn't know you didn't go. And then there must have been a drastic action. Yeah. Then a sack would have been more proper then, because we're talking about over close to 100 human lives at that time, that were lost. So, but now it's just, they held the whole legislative arm of Nigeria to a ransom, and that's why everyone has decided to fall. So sad enough, it looks heavier, but it shouldn't, but it looks heavier right now to our government, and that's why I am not surprised, because it looks like it's like somebody is trying to hold Nigeria to ransom. I mean, imagine that there was a coup plot, actually. A coup plot, A lot of people have been indicting, saying statements about coups and that and that and that. So tomorrow, if something like that, God forbid, happens, then I wouldn't be shocked, because at this point, the country is at a volatile point. Very, very volatile. And any statement, any action, any form of movement that can go to expose or put people in rancor or put the democracy of our dear nation in rancor would be seriously frowned at, and that was why that decision was taken. So I'm not in any way surprised. As a matter of fact, to shock you, I still feel that there's still some form of politicking to that action right now. So because I would say that Nigeria, sad enough, sometimes could be a country where a lot of people don't see sack as something dishonorable. When you are sacked from a job, can you imagine that when you go home from, maybe you work in a bank, and then you go home and then you tell your people that you were sacked? It's like a shame. A lot of people will say, I'd rather prefer to resign than be sacked because of the dent. But when it comes to public offices, people don't care. That's why we behave sometimes unconsciously about being sacked. We don't have that fear. So sad enough, I'm not surprised. And there's still a lot of drama unfolding.
And part of the drama unfolding is the DG was briefly arrested, and as well as the former DG Ita Ekpeyong on a case of about 17 billion naira fraud. And then they've also uncovered certain other things. There's a video circulating now of some huge amounts of money recovered at his residence. I have not confirmed that yet, but then I have seen the video, but I'm not sure if that was Mama Dara's residence.
We have always seen videos. As a matter of fact, I have seen videos. Videos just crop up usually at this kind of times. As usually all of these times when you hear that something billion or something happened, you will just see the same sort of video in the same looking form of container where people are opening.
This was not even called. This was a sack.
Sacks and all. So we cannot confirm the source of that video. We're not sure. And as a matter of fact, the question we should ask ourselves is, in all honesty, will the police or whatever agency responsible that probably investigated and found out those monies, will they have actually allowed such a video to have been taken of the event? One, if they did, maybe for record purpose, Is there a possibility that it would have leaked and got into public notice or public domain? So these are the questions which you asked. I remember there was a time during the former pensions board chief, this case that we've still not been able to resolve, and then they allege that money,
the minor,
minor case, and they allege a lot of billions and all. And I remember there was a video circulating at the time, and funny enough, I fell to that folly too. I shared that video, and somebody called my attention and told me, sent me a link of a video of a country. It was not even Nigeria, I think it was Arab, or the Arab Emirates or somewhere abroad, where it was an investigation done, and then I saw the logo of what's it called, that country. I saw the emblem on those containers too, and I'm like, wow, how could I have fallen so cheaply for this? So we don't know the source of that video. Yes, there was money, but we don't know the source of that video, and I don't think it should be a very solid talking point for us as regards the video. Yes. But money was found, and that's huge. That's huge. I mean, it's very huge.
What do you think the president should do to resolve this seeming impasse?
Well,
with the National Assembly?
I think, with all sense of modesty and respect to the person of the president, the integrity mantra always comes to play every time issues like this happen. Recall back to many months back, down to other issues, down to the IGP matter, down to this right now. The integrity mantra is always coming to play, and I know for sure that if we've ever had a president in Nigeria that has never been challenged of corruption allegations, ever in the history of Nigeria, is this president right now, sitting now. I might not have been born, or maybe I would have probably been young when he first ruled Nigeria. Yes, I was born, but we're very young when he first ruled Nigeria. But this one right now, I have not seen from any quarter flying around news from whatever email, whatever source, that he's been alleged of financial impropriety. That's one established, which means to some reasonable extent, he might, or he has actually, that level of integrity. But this is where I think the president should begin to wield his acts of justice over the people in his cabinet that seem too powerful beyond the rule of law and above the rule of law. At least it will go a long way to send a strong message that indeed this administration is ready to actually nip these issues in the bud, because if you are fighting for equity, you should come with clean hands, and you cannot have your own almighty and preaching cleanness outside and wholeness outside. It's impossible. We have to start from within. The president should start a cleansing from within his cabinet, and that is what I'm advising. Whatever way he wants to do that, sack, probe, whatever, these are things that the president and the executive has power and access to. Let them just do it. By the way, where is ICPC?
Well, you think the president will be able to do that perhaps if he gets a second term?
Well,
because a lot of persons are saying 4 years is perhaps too short.
I'm funny enough, I am coming to a point where I think that even though I do not agree so much with this current administration scale of preference, in the order of arrangement, things on priorities, their priorities, I do now I'm beginning to think that indeed 4 years might just be too small a time to actually effect a total change. Now, I use the word total change. Let me talk about the scale of preference I mentioned earlier. This is what I feel. If I were the president of Nigeria, the first thing I will fix is economy. The second thing is security. You know why I'll fix economy first? Because when economy or the economy of a country is stable, we will have less security challenges. Yeah. When people can get access to enough funds to live on an average 3 meals, at least 2 square meals per day. When we have social structures or implementations that caters for kids and people that are homeless and people that don't have jobs, unemployed youth. When we have systems that balances our pricing regulations on commodities in Nigeria, then I have come to discover that Nigerians will be largely contented, and the remnant that would still desire to want to, by virtue of crime, by virtue of whatever, theft, want to clinch to the extra that should be saved or is not there will be dealt with, and that's where security comes in. So, but it's obvious that this government does not see that is not the scale of preference for this government. The first thing is security, and they are not even handling that very well. And you know why? Because they have failed to see that the economy is very, very, very paramount to handling and tackling security issues. I mean, an average advanced countries where they probably have stable economies, we usually have just jolts of crimes here and there, because of course we cannot totally have a crime-free society, as the societal structure sometimes even recreates and perpetuates these instances where crime will occur. But the truth is, we can have a thriving economy where youth will not take to armed robbery, will not take to cyber crimes, because they are not able to at least feed or buy clothes or shield themselves averagely. You understand? So I think that this is it, and that's where I have the problem with them. But I hope, just back to your question, I hope that this will not be a card for them to wield, that we have done 4 years and we have done this, these are the things that we're able to do the next 4 years, this is what we plan to do. I hope it's not a card they're wielding, because I feel that if they're actually concerned, then it should be the first thing that they should do. There are steps that we can take. There is authority in being the president of a country. There's authority in being the minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are not using this, or maybe rather we're using it to maybe make ourselves very, 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 very rich, and then impoverish the system.
Perhaps you think that you should find a way to make this seats and these things less powerful than they.
No, it's not about the power. It's not about the power. We all know that absolute power only comes with absolute number of cash. Cash is what makes power what it is. It's about money. And so let us tell ourselves the truth. Let us reduce the amount of money that whatever ministry is in charge of, salaries, wages, board, or whatever, we should review it. If I were the president of Nigeria, that would be the first thing I'll review. The president should not be paid so much, astronomically into millions, running to millions, if his portfolio and his job profile is not commensurate with the finance that comes in at the end of the day. This is what, let us break it down. How do private sectors work? We have people who work in private sectors and earn close to $1 million every month. There is no doubt. Even more than $1 million every month. There are private sector workers that earn more than $1 million every month. But you and I know that in a private sector, if you earn more than $1 million every month, then it means that you have worked for double the time that of how much you earn.
Sitting over a portfolio of almost 70-80 million.
You can imagine that. So it means that what work you do is you have made 2 times of that money for you to earn over $1 million naira. But the question is, all our governors, all these elective positions, do they work as much, or their work, is it commensurate to how much they pay? Until we flush out that excess cash in the system, I don't think we're going anywhere serious.
All right, here in Nigeria, 814-441-9455. That's the number to call to share your views on some of the issues, to join the discussion here on some of the issues that we are currently reviewing. Quickly, in 1 minute, to address some of these issues, let's look at the NYC wage bill. Do you think there's this story in circulation that it will be increased to 49,000, even though we know that is not true?
Well, confirmed. It's not confirmed.
Well, it's not confirmed, but then
every rumor has a source.
19,800. Do you think we should truly have an increase?
Yes, we should. We should. But one of the things why I think that this would work is also that it's coming with the new minimum wage arrangement, which means that we're not just building castles in the air and saying that what's it called? Our core members will be collecting 49,000. And our minimum wage will still reduce. We'll still be at how much is it? 18,000 naira. Okay, that doesn't sound sensible economically. But when you say that we'll review the minimum wage and we'll take it a notch, maybe 45K or something, and then we can now talk about actually, the possibility of working out a 49,000 naira monthly stipend for for all core members, then it's visible. Then we can, there is an economic quadrant. There is a balance in the economy. It's just like saying, you pay somebody, what's it called? You pay somebody 69,000 naira every month, and then a bag of rice is 20,000 naira. What do you think that person, how do you think that person will survive with 69,000 naira looks a huge amount, right? But by the time you take it to the market to buy just the necessity, tomato and all of these things, you discover that the person is left with nothing at all. So if we begin to look at this economic quadrant and weigh, I think if that review will come with a review also in the wages, then it can work. Another thing I want us to look at is there's so much not noise, so much talk about whether the economy of Nigeria, do we have enough money to be able to sustain this?
Yes.
Now, in all fairness, Nigeria has enough money to sustain this, but the point is the monies are not going to the right places. They are not going to the right places. I mean, look at our budget. How much was allocated for education? How much was allocated for agriculture? But rather, we have ministries of transportation and this and that taking a large chunk of these things. Fine, we're trying to fix our power problems, but how much can we actually, how much effort have we put into this, and what result has it yielded? Would it not have made more sense if we put in other sectors like, let's say, education and agriculture? And I know that these ministries fall under this majority of these ministries, So I think that if we begin to channel our money to the right sources, we can sustain this.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please, your name.
Okay. Ekiti, okay.
To ensure this country being in order, I listen. Hello?
Hello, we are listening.
We are with you.
The way in democracy in this country, we were surprised. Democracy has come to crazy. But I want the politicians to take the heart of people. Really, we talk of sovereignty in Nigeria. I've listened to you. Really, the government are trying.
All right. Thank you
I'm very
very
sure
much.
that they must be listening. Okay, but quickly, let's talk about Comrade Bumiojo.
Yeah, a sad
That
one.
was a really gruesome one.
A sad one.
I remember that we had him here sometime last year.
Yeah.
On Checkpoint, and I also did a brief interview with him. But then he's gone. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Yes,
to
sir.
you too. All right, Pastor Joshua.
All right.
He's speaking very well. You see, let me tell you one thing. What I come to understand is that the problem that this present government is having is that, when before this government comes to the board, they were criticizing the president that is not a Democrat, that is a military man, that they were saying a lot of things. Now, that's why I believe that there's some steps that he's supposed to take, so we were not taking it gently. Like the issue of that salary, if that we could have taken that and we could have helped us. The money to improve the economy now has been taken away, support with that money. And that is what we see that is happening now. Billions of naira have been taken away. So there's nothing in there.
Okay.
We lost that. Please, if you can, still call back.
But what does it say about the state of security in Ekiti State and Nigeria? That's commenting on Comrade Buriojo's death, murder.
I think we've not been paying enough attention to the security state in Ekiti State. We've not. It's sad. I know the police and PPRU and those bodies are trying their best, but my candid, from observations is Ekiti State has all it takes to be one of the most secure states in Nigeria. I mean, major exit, one major entry into the state. And It's simple. Man all these points and secure every point. And we've not done that. It might be largely because of certain logistics, mobilization, security votes, and all of that. But the truth is, security of life and properties is very, very important. Should be very, very important. It's a sad case what happened. And as a matter of fact, the culprit has not been apprehended right now. Yeah. I mean, I want to also say something about the security awareness of indigents in Ekiti State. In fact, generally in Nigeria, I don't think that we're so security conscious and aware in Nigeria. We need to start a campaign about security awareness, because I know very candidly that if only we were security aware and conscious, a lot of deaths will not, or will probably have been salvaged. For instance, when you hear a shooting, an average Westerner knows that when you hear a gunshot, you go down on the floor. Yeah. You go down on the floor. But no, Nigerians have been found to always camp out when there's shooting. And then we've had cases of stray bullets here and there.
Yeah. All right, hello, good morning. Good morning,
sir.
Your name, please. Your name.
Thank you, sir. Your name, sir. All right, sir.
In Nigeria, that makes makes one to feel so sad. Are you listening?
Yes,
we are.
That makes one feel so sad, but one cannot exhaust it. But let me just contribute as much as one at the same time. I feel very bad that it's so unfortunate that yes, like one of your, the man there was saying that he was young when Buhari was there the first time, and things like that, and everything that he thinks is about integrity. Fine, beautiful. The one thing is that I'm not that so young. But I don't want to criticize that. I don't want to say anything they will now come as hate fish or whatever. But let me say one thing I think that makes me feel very bad is that to me, I'm sorry, was not really prepared for this governance. In the sense that if you say you use 4 times, that means 16 good years to look for a particular position. Unfortunately, we have lost leaders in Nigeria. You used 16 years to look for a particular position, and eventually you got that position after 15 years.
True.
And at the first, for almost a whole year, you cannot even choose your ministers. You are not prepared. I think Awolowo of blessed memory. I was, like I said, I'm not that young as you. Awolowo was very good. Of blessed memory. If you ask him to give him, if you give him 16 months, he will even tell you, please reduce it to 16 days or even less. And he will provide solution. He will know what to do. 1 year, 2 years, this is what we will achieve. But somebody got there 16 years until today, now 3 years after, we no direction. It's so unfortunate. And whereas one, then two, you see that the way he has even chosen his cabinet and things like that is like he's nepotistic about it. You surround yourself with your own clan people. People are killing people, and the moment you from your bed, when you was sick, you from the bed, he came down. People did not hype up this thing. I'm not saying what hype up is doing or good or right, but from your sick bed, you came to Nigeria. And you read the riot act and you declare IPOB or whatever it is as what you call this
a terrorist group.
A terrorist group.
A terrorist group. This has been great.
And you cannot declare them as terrorists. You declare IPOB that did not kill one person, just demonstrating, and you declare them as terrorists. Your people are killing people like this.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, we have to let you go because our time is fast spent. Quickly before we go, let's take a couple of headlines. From Punch, Chinese player denies hurling racial insult to Dembaba, and Oshibadru knocks pastors for not preaching against corruption. Sevilla threatens to pull out of Super Cup against Barra. And Lagos dump US scavengers trading used syringes, other surgical waste. Okay. NASA blasts off historic spaceship to Sun. And Autumn demands 10 billion naira from Oshomole. That's interesting. Okay, APC candidate Ahmed Baba Keita wins Katsina by-election. We are still waiting for results from Bauchi Centurion by-election. We also have this report. Kogi by-election records 2 deaths. And Bauchi by-election, Dogara not allowed to vote. Interesting. And Premium Times is saying contractors complete abandoned project at Nigeria's nuclear technology. You're also saying Premium Times also has this headline: NHRC Lords acting SSSD over pledge to review unlawful detentions. AY Nigeria, let's say our goodbyes from here. What's your closing
I want
remark?
to say the credible alternative will come when Nigerians learn to be credible in their everyday action. Good morning.
Remember that if you don't even do what is right for your country, then there's no passage to heaven. You can contest that anywhere, but that's the truth. Enjoy the rest of your week. It's true.
You're not going to heaven.